Good evening, folks. This is another podcast of the Oh Snap Pizza Nap podcast with your host, Vasilios. I thought I'd cover a little bit of why I picked the name for the podcast and kind of go into some sports-related topics today, too. So, here we go. The reason why I picked the Oh Snap Pizza Nap is because I said Oh Snap one day when I was coming up with a few names, and there was been a few names. One was Oh Snap Shit Chat, Oh Snap Shit Chat You Shout, and I just said, nah, not for me right now. Those are more for a group thing. So I decided where I was when I was thinking it was at my family's business, which is a pizza restaurant here in Vancouver, Canada, and I said pizza, and I was napping at the time. And I woke up and I said, oh snap, and then pizza was in front of me and I was napping. And that's kind of how I just put it all together. And I just thought it's a funny way of making a name for a podcast too, just to try to be outside the box. Besides all that, that's, what it is. So any further questions, comments, DM me on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook, and I will answer your questions on that. So further on into the show here, I noticed there's been some massive contract signings. Well, not really massive. I would say more of a tiny contract signings, but still contract signings. And I usually use my my go-to guy, which is the top shelf hockey guy. But currently recording a podcast, so I can't really listen to what he has to say. But he's very informative, and I just listened to that guy. I listened to First Take podcasts on sports related issues. So I have just saw my Canucks have signed a 1-year deal to one of their rookie prospects, Ole Ulevy. I still don't understand why he turned down his qualifying offer for $30,000 less than what he was going to get, but that's okay. That's his thing. I'm seeing there's been a couple of, maybe 3 goalie signings. One's Flyers Carter Hart for 3 years, $11.9 million. And the Caps inked their goaltender to a 1-year, $2 million deal. That's not a surprise. Goaltending in hockey right now is kind of like shooting fish in a barrel. Can't really find a lot, and you can't really find a substantially good amount of goalies, because it's just they're running through them like crap through a goose. The thing is, I see some players get overpaid a little too much money in certain markets that I question whether they're going to be a playoff team or not. And really, to look at it, I'm going to be unbiased here because I am a Canuck fan. But to tell you honest truth here, there are going to be some surprises. Oh, look at that. Maxime Comtois and Max Jones of the Ducks signed 2 and 3 years apiece. That's pretty good for them. Good, solid rebasing. I'm still liking my team. Our goalie situation with Demko was awesome. We locked him up for 5 years at $5 million, where 4 years cost New York Rangers goalie a lot of money. So I don't see that working out in their favor. Darnell Nurse, a few days ago, he signed his 8-year max contract at $9.25 million. Ooh, what does this mean for my Canucks and Mr. Hughes? Come on, Hughes, sign for a reasonable deal and back end it for us all. Come on. All in all, I noticed Seattle Kraken signed Marcus Johansson. No offense to that guy. He is a hell of a great player. Just getting up in age. So is Thomas Tatar. That's a little too steep for my blood. Dante Fabro, BC boy, still with the Prads. Why can't my team ever trade for that guy? That's the sad facts of being a Canuck fan. Sometimes you just don't get what you want. I noticed Logan Stanley re-upped with the Jets again for another 2 more years. That's pretty cool. Victor Mete re-upped for another year. That's good. Ooh, Travis Boyd. Could have stolen him for 1 year for $750. That's what happens. Keep your eyes off the prize and you lose them. But, that's the name of the game in the hockey world and the NBA world is who can spend what and spend how much money on certain players. To me, honestly, a lot of teams dole out so much money for too much term, I'm not going to say they're bad players. I'm going to say they're good players. They're not the afferential top name players like a Crosby and stuff. But they do deserve to get paid. I understand they go through an 82 game season, grueling, getting hit hard, getting beaten up, bruised, broken bones. That's some crazy stuff that they got going on. When you come to think of a $82 million or $82 million game or 82 games, sorry. Long day at work, sorry. I'm a little stammered on this. But that's what it is. And I looked through some more here. NBA hasn't done too much. Maybe I can check out another one that I usually use, which is Blanchard Report. Blanchard's another useful one. I love using them a lot. I look at them all the time on my cell phone. It's ridiculous how much time I spend on them. But again, that's me. And I'm a huge sports fanatic, so I will always be watching for my sports. Carmelo Anthony, he wants a ring real bad. I don't blame that guy. I would too. Spending so many years in the NBA and came close, but just never a sniff at the championship ring. Well, you know what? He's joining the Lakers with LeBron, and as I say, LeBron is a dynamo. Oh, Luka Doncic signs his max deal 5-year, $207 million extension. Whew. That's a lot of money. That is huge. Let's see. Oh, JJ Redick says since he signed his deal, he still owes him $1,700 from cards. Well then. That's the way it goes in basketball, you can make friends and you can start placing bets with each other. That's the craziest thing. Spencer Dinwiddie signed a $1 title bonus. So if his team wins the NBA title, he gets $1. Well, that's a nice gesture of believing in yourself. That's great. I would too. I hear so much rumblings right now about Pascal Siakam, Raptor player. I'm hearing things, but I just don't know if it's all true. I'd rather not see him leave because he is one of the core franchise players, part of that roster. But hey, well, if you can get something back in return, by all means. Let's see what they got. What would be an offer on deals from Sacramento and the Clippers and all that? That would be a really, 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 really crazy thing because I don't see the Raptors moving off Siakam. I hear Dragic was misquoted in the Sports Today, or by a Slovenian news reporter, of what he is. I understand Toronto isn't a desirable spot to play a sport. I understand you got lots and lots of cameras around everything. And it is what it is. It's one of those hot bod situations that you can't ignore. You can't ignore Toronto is a hot place for sports media. You got microphones in your face, and I understand that. It's just the same as somebody going to Toronto Maple Leafs to go play for the Maple Leafs because it's an original 6 team. I don't see much reason of going there. I really don't. As a sports fan, I would love to say that, if I was an athlete, I'd want to play for an original 6 team, but it's just not worth it. It's probably better off that you just stay away from big towns, big cities, especially places like New York, and I'd say LA. If you're an athlete, just if you're breaking into the league, you don't really want to go and put more pressure on yourself than you already have. It's pretty, nonsensical to do that, but it is what it is. But let me move forward here. Let's see what Manchester United's got. Nice. Sancho is going to be playing with his jersey on. I don't know what his number is, but let's see what the Evening Mail here, or Evening News in Manchester, has to say about the transfer windows. I hope my team can land another solid player, just because they're in for a real tough season ahead. So, looks like they're still scouting. Right on, that's nice. Nice to see Martial and Bruno Fernandes getting on the same page here, folks. It's really, really interesting to see that Sancho and Varane are significant signings, especially the Frenchman Raphael. He is such a good player. He can defend and he can score, and it's playmake. It's ridiculous. And Sancho, he's one of the young British up-and-coming players for the England team, and for Man U to have him at, the deal they got this year for him, that was ridiculous last season, spending all that time and wasted so much energy trying to grab him from Borussia Dortmund, and the money was just, the demand for him was just not worth the demand. Just like Lionel Messi and his mess right now, leaving Barcelona, his childhood team, his favorite team, in such a way. Yeah, I don't even understand where you can place a release clause close to €1 billion to release somebody from a contract. That's just something I just never can wrap my mind around. I'm a sports fanatic, but I'm also a person who loves looking at the business side of things, and just spending so much. And sometimes the player just doesn't want to play anymore there, or he's just lost faith in the management and the coaching staff after rotation after rotation after rotation of having this. And looking at, some of the moves some other teams have made, that is, PSG has just become something of a wannabe Real Madrid. My father has told me this. The two most expensive franchises in Europe in football today are Real Madrid, Manchester United. They have the money. They know how to spend the money, unless they get, some coaches and some general managers that think, trying to buy up every single player is a great idea. I don't think it is. Because you can buy players. Just like in the NHL, you can spend money on a team, or you can spend a little money and develop players and make them better. It's nice to have big names on your roster to sell tickets and put butts in seats. I fully understand that. But at the end of the day, you also have to look at how your team is playing and how it is all chemistry. If some pieces are off, well, then you're really going to miss a lot of other opportunities where other players and other